The ant does not know your name. It does not know your problems. It has never heard of anxiety or planning or the particular weight you carry into each new day. And yet, Ibn Ata'illah, the master who wrote the most quietly devastating book on surrender ever written, said that the ant understands something about trust in Allah that most human beings spend their entire lives trying to reach. Not because the ant is wise, because the ant has never stopped trusting. That is where we begin. Maybe you've already looked for the signs. Maybe you read about what it means when ants enter your home, the directions they move, the rooms they choose, the timing of their arrival. And perhaps some of it landed. Perhaps some of it felt true, but something is still there. Underneath the signs, underneath the meanings, underneath the searching itself. A question the signs didn't answer. Not, what are they saying? But why can't I hear it? Why does the message feel close but just out of reach? Why, even when I understand something with my mind, does my heart stay exactly where it was? Ibn Ata'illah spent his life sitting with that exact question. There is something he noticed about the way we carry our lives. Not the visible carrying, the work, the responsibilities, the people who depend on us. He noticed the invisible carrying, the weight we add on top of everything else, the rehearsing of futures that haven't arrived, the replaying of moments that are already gone, the constant low hum of management trying to hold outcomes in place through the sheer force of thinking about them. He called this the exhaustion beneath the exhaustion. And he said most people never find the source of it. They treat the tiredness. They rest. They sleep. They take time away. And then they return to their lives and the weight is exactly where they left it. Because they never put it down. They only set it beside them for a moment. Sit with that. A man, someone ordinary, someone you would not notice in a crowd, once described something that stopped him completely. He was watching a line of ants move across the corner of his kitchen floor, each one carrying something larger than itself, moving without hesitation, no confusion about direction, no stopping to reconsider. He watched them for a long time, and he said quietly, to no one in particular, "They are not afraid of dropping it." That was all. He didn't say anything profound, but something in him recognized something. That recognition, Ibn Ata'illah understood, is not small. It is the beginning of a different way of living. The ant carries because carrying is what it was made to do. It does not carry while simultaneously worrying about whether it will arrive. It does not carry while constructing alternate routes in its mind. It does not pause every few steps to reassess whether the load is too heavy, whether the destination still makes sense, whether it has made the right choice. It simply moves. Ibn Ata'illah spent years returning to this, the difference between moving and managing, between action and the exhausting parallel life we run alongside action, where we try to control what we cannot control through the constant labor of attention. He described it like a room that has been sealed for a long time. You've been living in it so long, you no longer notice the air has grown heavy. You think this is just what rooms feel like. This is just what life feels like, until someone opens a window and you feel the difference in your chest before you understand it in your mind. That window, he said, is the moment you realize that the outcome was never yours to carry. Notice what moved in you just now. This is where most people receive this idea and hold it at a distance. A nice thought, a comfort for harder moments. They hear trust in Allah and they nod. And then they return to their careful management of everything that might go wrong. Ibn Ata'illah noticed something quieter beneath this, harder to see, and more important. He said the problem is not that we don't believe in tawakkul. Most of us do, in some part of ourselves. The problem is that we have confused trust with passivity, and because we have confused them, we reject one in order to keep the other. We think, if I let go, things will fall apart. If I trust, I am being naive. If I stop watching the outcome, no one will. And so, we keep carrying, not because we must, because we are afraid of what lives in the space where the carrying used to be. The ant does not fill that space with fear. This is the thing Ibn Ata'illah was pointing toward, not a lesson about insects. A lesson about what lives in the silence between effort and outcome. Most of us fill that silence immediately. We fill it with worry, with planning, with the kind of mental labor that feels productive but produces nothing except more exhaustion. The ant moves, and then it moves again. It does not fill the space between steps with dread. Ibn Ata'illah called the ability to leave that space open, truly open, held by Allah rather than stuffed with our own management, the highest form of trust a human being can practice. Not the dramatic surrender of someone who has given up, the quiet, daily, almost invisible surrender of someone who has learned the difference between what is theirs to carry and what was never theirs at all. Something in you knows this distinction. You have felt it, even briefly. The moment after a long, difficult conversation when you finally said what needed to be said, and then released it. The moment you stopped waiting for a response and simply went to sleep. The moment you realized halfway through worrying that the worrying had already cost you more than the thing itself ever would. Those moments, that feeling. Ibn Ata'illah said that feeling is not relief. It is recognition. You are recognizing something you already knew before the weight arrived. Perhaps that is why the ant stopped you. Not because it carried a coded message about your future. Not because it was sent to tell you something specific about your situation. But because something in you, the quiet part, the part that already knows, recognized in that small creature a way of moving through the world that you have been slowly forgetting. The ant did not arrive with 7 signs. It arrived with one truth. You were never meant to carry all of it. So, what does this look like? Not as philosophy, but as something real tonight. It begins smaller than you expect. Not a dramatic release. Not a single decision that changes everything. A practice. One that fits inside the life you already have. Before you reach for your phone in the morning, before the day begins its familiar pull, there is a moment, brief. Most people cross it without noticing. Ibn Ata'illah pointed to this exact moment as the hinge of the day. What you do in it shapes everything that follows. In that moment, instead of reaching outward immediately, you pause. You notice what you are already carrying before the day has asked anything of you. The thought that arrived before your eyes fully opened. The low hum of whatever yesterday left unresolved. You do not solve it. You do not plan around it. You name it quietly to yourself. And then you release it upward, not dramatically. The way you would set down a bag when you finally reach your chair, simply with the knowledge that you can pick it up again if you need to, but that for this moment you are not holding it. This is not a 40-day program. It is a single breath, repeated. Ibn Ata'illah also noticed something about the moments after we have already done our part, when the work is finished, when the words have been spoken, when the decision has been made. He said this is precisely when we begin our second invisible labor, the labor of monitoring the outcome, nudging it, worrying it into the shape we need. He said, "You have done what was yours to do. Now comes the part that was never yours." The ant deposits its load. and then it goes back for another. It does not stand over what it has delivered, making sure it stays in place. It trusts the structure it is part of. It moves. You have a version of this available to you every single day. After the email is sent, after the conversation ends, after the decision is made, there is a moment, small, ordinary, where you can choose not to follow the outcome with your mind, where you can let it be where it is, held by something larger than your ability to manage it. That choice, made quietly, made repeatedly, is what Ibn Ata'illah called the living practice of tawakkul, not a feeling, not a state you arrive at once and keep forever. A choice, made again and again, in small moments, until the choosing becomes something closer to your nature. You will know something has shifted when you catch yourself mid-worry and notice that you are worrying, not because worrying stopped, because a part of you now watches it with a little distance. That distance is the beginning. Something in you will feel lighter, not because the load is smaller, because you are no longer carrying the part that was never yours. The people close to you may notice something different before you fully name it yourself. A quality of presence, a steadiness. Not because you have become someone who doesn't care, because you have become someone who trusts. We began with an ant, a creature that does not know your name, does not know your problems, has never heard of anxiety or the particular weight you carry into each new day. And now, perhaps, you see it differently. Not as a messenger with 7 coded meanings, as something quieter than that, as a small creature that has been doing, without effort, without philosophy, without even knowing, the one thing most of us spend our entire lives trying to learn. It carries what is hers. She moves. She does not carry the outcome. She was never asked to. There is a question worth sitting with, not tonight necessarily, but when it finds you. And it will find you, probably in a quiet moment, probably when you least expect it. What are you still carrying that was never yours? And what would your life feel like if you finally, gently, set it down? Ibn Ata'illah understood that surrender is not the absence of effort. It is the presence of trust. He spent his life pointing toward the space between what we do and what we control, and saying gently that the space was always meant to be held by something other than us. The ant knew this before any of us arrived. Perhaps that is enough. You were never meant to carry all of it